What's up, everybody? Welcome to the NBA Tip Drill. I'm Frank Stampfl, and the madness is here. NBA DFS madness, of course. I'm joined by Drew Dinkmeyer of DailyRoto.com. Drew, what's going on, and how does this slate look so far?
It looks like a little bit of a tricky slate. It looks like a slate that may have some madness to it. Just 6 games, but a bunch of games with kind of wider spreads tonight. Some players questionable on the injury report, so we'll see how it all shakes out.
We'll start it off at the point guard position as we always do, and DailyRoto.com likes paying down at the point guard position. Drew, who is that, and why do we like him?
Yeah, the point guard position is pretty tricky today. I think there are some guys that you might want to consider spending up at the top, led by Kemba Walker, but the guy who projects as the best value for us is D'Anthony Melton, and he's priced right around the minimum at $3,600. He's started the last few games in the absence of Tyler Johnson, no Kelly Oubre as well, so that's kind of shifted Devin Booker back to shooting guard after playing some point guard. And while Melton's been inconsistent with his performance, the fact that he's $3,600 makes it so that even if he does have a bad game, he could end up as kind of that drop scorer. Given the difficulty of filling out the point guard position today, which is usually a position that's not hard to find options, we think he makes a lot of sense.
D'Anthony Melton makes a lot of sense paying down at the point guard position. We're going to spend a little bit more at the shooting guard. Billy Roto likes Buddy Hield. Drew, why is that?
Yeah, with Buddy Hield, he's the guy who hasn't really seen his minutes sacrificed, with Bogdan Bogdanovic seeing his minutes kind of cut back since Marvin Bagley's been back, since Nemanja Bjelica entered the starting rotation. So with Hield, he's been in those mid-30s minutes, and the matchup with Dallas is a pretty good one. They rank bottom 10 in defensive efficiency against opposing shooting guards. With some other minutes concerns on the top-end shooting guard options, Bradley Beal on the second night of back-to-back coming off of overtime, we think Buddy Hield in kind of that mid-range makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so we paid down at the point guard position. We hit the mid-range at shooting guard. Let's move over to the small forward, where we're actually paying down once again here. True story, before we started recording this, I had Drew give me a biography of who we're about to talk about because, to be honest, I didn't know much about this player. It's Troy Brown. Drew, what do you guys like about him tonight?
Yeah, Troy Brown has kind of emerged in the second half of the season for the Washington Wizards as a valuable backup, but tonight he's going to be thrust most likely into the starting rotation or into heavy minutes. The absence of Trevor Ariza, who's doubtful tonight. Last night when Ariza got hurt, Troy Brown played basically all the minutes in his absence. Washington, again, playing on the second night of back-to-back here after an overtime game, probably starting to shift into evaluation mode with some of the younger players. We think Troy Brown, at the minimum, just $3,500 at small forward, makes a ton of sense. He projects as our best value across any position on this slate.
Best value across any position tonight. All right, Troy Brown, get him in your lineups. Let's move over to power forward. I have a feeling we're going to spend up a little bit here. We've been saving some money. Drew, who do you guys like at power forward tonight?
Yeah, this one's been tricky because, Blake Griffin has been a guy that all season long has outperformed these price tags in the high 7,000s, low 8,000s, where he's been hovering around lately. And so he's looked like a huge bargain to us, but he's been playing, through some nagging injuries. The Pistons have attempted to get him some rest. The matchup tonight is just really, really good. Phoenix just doesn't have options to guard Blake Griffin. They'll start out with Dragan Bender. After that, it's a bunch of undersized wings trying to play the 4 position. We think Blake is still a little bit underpriced for his production year to date, and we think this is a great matchup with Phoenix. So Blake's one of those guys to consider spending up on.
Spend up for Blake Griffin at the power forward position. We're also going to spend up at center. And Drew, I had to look twice when I saw Karl Anthony Towns' second half numbers in 11 games after the All-Star break. 32 points per game, 14 rebounds. Are you serious with this guy? I mean, I can ask you why you like him, but why do you like him?
Yeah, he's been incredible in the second half. No Derrick Rose, no Jeff Teague, no Robert Covington. They've been really ravaged by injuries, and they've had to lean heavily on Karl Anthony Towns. We expect that'll be the case again tonight. There is a slight concern in the sense that Karl Anthony Towns is playing through a little bit of knee soreness, and Minnesota doesn't really have anything to play for at this time of year, but Karl Anthony Towns is a guy who's known for playing through basically everything, and the matchup with Charlotte is really good. They don't have great opposing defensive centers. They've been a little bit shorthanded with Cody Zeller playing banged up and through injury, so I think this is a great match for Karl Anthony Towns, and if you're not spending on him, you still got Andre Drummond, Nikola Jokic. This is definitely one of those positions to spend at because there's a lot of great centers on this slate.
Make sure you spend up at the center position. Nikola Jokic, actually a favorite of both Drew Dinkmeyer and my own, but Karl Anthony Towns, what he's doing in the second half, those are some crazy numbers. He's Drew Dinkmeyer. I'm Frank Stampfl. Make sure you stay tuned over at DailyRoto.com tonight. going to be more madness, I'm sure, about that leading up until tip. So make sure you're over at dailyroto.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good luck.